This is Mary Omni from the World Government House of King David, Holy Covenant Constitutional Enforcer. I'm the woman of Galatians 4:4 and the woman of Revelations 12. Please refer to your Bible. And all I ask you to do is consider that I am who I say I am. I'm the mother of the New Jerusalem, and I'm the mother that gave birth to newborn King Emmanuel, February the 15th, 2011. This is a Republic notice of the Anti-Constitutional Teachers Union. The Anti-Constitutional Teachers Union, national organization and state organizations, the National Associations of Teachers Unions. They are anti-constitutional. And this is a Republic notice of their anti-constitutionality and a Republic notice to them. With this last election in 2012, with President Obama running, the Chicago Teachers Union went on strike just before President Obama election. Now, somehow, all these in corporate doctrine contractors are Babylon. Okay, Babylon and corporate doctrine. Same thing. These are people who nobody forced to come to the United States. No matter how many generations they've been here, nobody forced them to come to the United States. They consent to incorporate doctrines because a lot of them don't have no constitutionality. And they are told they are Americans just by infringing and assisting in keeping the inalienable rights trampled of Black Americans' rights, wealth, and constitutionality. And this consists of the majority in the teachers union, because the majority are not constitutional citizens or constitutional heirs or Ephraim or any Israelites. Now, when the Chicago's teachers union went on strike, they cried unfairness because they said that the standards that they was told to keep wasn't really viable because the children that they had to teach come from poor backgrounds and come from violent neighborhoods and single parent homes and things of that nature. So they shouldn't have to keep no standards with all them issues that these children face. Why should we have to keep the standards of that? Now, we're not even talking about standards and content. It's something called standards and content. Standards is when you just kind of test the children and just make sure they're on the level of knowing the basics of a second grade or third grade. Content is when you have standard, and content is when you have a full curriculum of cultural things like music, gym, art expression, understanding artistic, health services, understanding health knowledge, things like the Renaissance, Black cultural, music lessons, just things that would enlighten a child outside their immediate framework of reality. They didn't want to content them with any of that. No content with, a full education. And these teachers union in Chicago was crying over the standards. And we saw all these rats come out, and I don't have no other word for them, but rats come out with every kind of problem as if they was going to throw a monkey wrench in Obama's election, or they was trying to blackmail them. Rats was coming out all over the place like, I'm going to throw a monkey wrench in your campaign if you don't give me what I want. And one of them rats was the Chicago Teacher Union. Now, Rahm Emanuel said he was following the standards that President Obama has set forth to, try at least to give the children some standards of survival. And that's just basic survival knowledge before they move on to the next grade, in order to survive the next grade and beyond. Or in order to just, get by the next day grade and beyond. They call it standards, but if it's not standards and content, then we're missing a lot of meat. Now, they don't want to give the children standards and content either. That wasn't their issue. They don't even want to give them standards. Before they was required to give them standards and content. Then they said that was too much. Now they said standards are too much. So I'm saying, with this going on, why is so much money being invested in these teachers and these teachers union? The product they are producing is not viable to the investment being made. Common sense tells you that. Billions and billions and billions of dollars of investment is being made in unions. And they fail in every state. In every state, you have schools failing to reach the standards of education when it comes to black constitutional black constitutional children. All other children, whether they Asian, foreign whites by the multiple millions, Hispanics, and all other Mediterraneans, Middle Easterns, and all them. You know, what the teachers union is trying to say is they come from rich countries. Yeah, they come from rich societies here, and so you can teach them, huh? But you can't teach the black children that's from poor societies right here. That's a bunch of anti-constitutionalism. These children are the 14th all persons born. They are the sovereignty. They are the future and the sovereignty of this country. They are born non-consenters. Their birthright was always non-consented to others, because 3/5 couldn't consent for the 14th. They inherited it. They inherited it in 1868. That means the 14th Amendment been non-consented since 1868. Now, the Dred Scott confirms this, because Dred Scott had no legal rights. Now, a lot of people see that as a bad thing, but Dred Scott wanted to put it on supreme record that he had no legal rights to consent. See, to consent. No legal rights mean he had no legal rights to consent. So therefore, when the amendments and his constitutionality came in a legal form, it became in a non-consented legal form that no one could deny. Okay? Because 3/5, the Supreme Court case said, was framed. What's a frame? A frame is, in truth, the four corners of the law. Okay? So, in the four corners of the law, blacks are non-consenters. And these children are non-consenters to these teachers union being on their 14th wealth, their 14th birthrights, their land, their 400-year inheritance, their wealth. Now, this is the wealth holders and the debt-free children in America. This is the debt-free. They're not born bond children, but they want to treat them like bond children. And these people come from all over the world, from the direst conditions. I mean, extreme poverty. Extreme poverty and destitution and all kind of war zones. And these teachers unions don't complain about teaching them. Now, who is these people in these teachers union? Who are their background? What's their ethnicity? Where do most of them come from? That's what we need to start looking at. Where do most of these people come from? What is their ethnicity to knock them like that, to have that such a chest anti-teaching a black, or anti-making sure a black IEP of education is met? An individual education plan for a child who's not only slow, but many of them are highly intelligent and need a special plan so that they don't fall behind. They're different and they learn different, but it has nothing to do with their intelligence. They just can't sit in some boring classroom without you teaching them their true identity. And this is what I'm saying now. It's time that blacks start looking into this and start beginning to sit down with the Treasury or whoever and tell them that we need another way. because this teachers union has had 50 years to piss on the brains of black children. They've been pissing on the brains for 50 to 60 years now. It's time for us to give them some release from these piss demons, okay? These piss demons. It's time for them to have some release from these piss demons. It is time for black historically colleges to start building satellite schools on an elementary level and on a middle school level and a high school level, and that the funding for education have the priority of constitutional children and citizens first, to build satellite schools on an elementary, middle school, and a high school level to satellite into historically black colleges, whether you're building up more of the black colleges or the satellite schools on the campuses or nearby. The funding priority needs to be for that. We're tired of our constitutional wealth being squandered and embezzled in teachers union, given to all these other private schools to educate in corporate doctors who is not coming to world standards anyway. They're not coming to world standards anyway, and they are bond children. They are full of world debt, and they cannot protect the wealth of America or the sovereignty of America. And I'm tired of these children being scapegoated in this morass of BS and demonology that you call a teachers union. It's time for a constitutional lien, preemptive lien on all state educational agencies, all school districts. We own that land. Every school district sit on. We own that land. And don't you forget it. We coming after all your state educational agencies. Here, we're tired of your trashing our kids for prison. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David. This is Mary Omni from the House of King David.